Hello, I'm DJ Brian Blues Cox, and I've thought I would explain a little bit about singles and albums. The first to be invented was a German, and he invented that in about 1898. I think it was. It was an old album. They call them albums because in the original days of photography, they put photographs in albums, and when they first did flat records, they started to put them into like paper slips and put them in a book, which was called an album. And so there you have the albums. And then later on, because I think RCA Victor were the first to start experimenting with albums with vinyl light. And eventually the war came along, and so Capitol took over instead, and that became popular. That came out in 1948, and then round about a bit later, about 50, I think it was, RCA did the single, which was on both sides, and they were different from the old 78s that you had before in the 40s and 50s because they had different speeds, revolutions per minute. And so what happened was they released an album. Then when they had the singles came out, they decided that they could sell singles to promote an album, which is what happened eventually. And in Britain, you had in 1952 you had the national hit parade charts, which was being recorded. So that came up as well. That started in 1952. I think Billboard might have started before that in the States, a little bit before that. And the UK charts have been on there ever since. It's changed hands a loads of times. And originally it was pulled on paper in New Music Magazine, I think it is, NME, and it was recorded on that. And then when it went to the radio stations, Radio 1 decided to do it originally as well, I think. So everyone was starting to listening to the charts after that. So anyway, I hope that's a bit of information. I can give you a bit more information about it if you really want. And although we do have streaming now, the word or the term singles still happens. We still call it, whether it's downloads or streams, and you need, I think it's 1,000 streams to sell one single in the UK, and I think it's 1,500 in the US for the streaming. So if you have all those streams, you'll start getting one single. And of course, you need millions of copies to get into the charts and into the top 40 and so forth. But yeah, everyone still has high prestige for getting in the charts and getting number one. And of course, everyone wants to be Christmas number one at some point in the year as well. That's highly prestigious as well. Well, I hope you found that interesting, and I hope you really enjoy it.